quorum. We have all members present. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of July 17th.
Sir, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Second.
So it wouldn't technically be corrected because you have them here.
Well, the elements that had to be corrected were,
Oh, did you send an email?
yes.
There was an email.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
there
have
was
not
an
got the
email.
email, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So yes, as
You-
corrected, okay.
You sent the email.
No, that's just the revised,
No, there was one before that
Yeah,
Right.
that said
I
don't know
there
if
was
I saw
something.
that.
yes, with, it was, yes, the minutes, yes. So, but technically it was corrected before you guys actually vote on it. So
Okay.
it's,
Well, so we'd like to go
Just-
ahead and make a motion to approve the
As
minutes, the initial minutes, but with the exceptions of D and F in bow legs that have been changed.
no, because it hasn't been, it was changed before you guys actually voted on it. Does that make sense?
No,
So the
Before
draft
we-
minutes are
because-
draft until you guys voted. I went ahead and sent this packet out to you, but then changed that, but again, it's prior to you guys voting.
That was
So-
just draft 2.
It was just, yes, it was just a draft. So it's just how you have them on, in here now, which is the correct one, is the one you're actually voting on.
okay.
So it's just as submitted.
okay, as submitted then.
Yeah.
Okay, with the D and F in bow legs.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd
I
like
have
to
a
make
mo-
that motion, sir.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Next order of business is the election of a vice chairperson.
Hold on, before we get to that, I just want to welcome our 2 new members, Daniel and David. Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Yes? We need 5 members.
Yes.
All right, the election of their vice chairperson. Do I have any nominees?
I guess I will volunteer.
You volunteer to be the vice chairperson?
I do.
Okay. Do I have any other nominees? Do I have a motion that the nominations be closed?
Sir, I'd like to make a motion that the nominations be closed.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All of those in favor of Kathy Kim being the vice chair, say aye.
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 No.
Opposed, the same sign.
It's like, do I vote? I don't know.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay.
Now we have that. Okay. Staff report.
Yes. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow more than 2 accessory structures on a property zoned R125, low-density, single-family residential. The property is located at 4650 New Lawrence Road. It's 5.6 acres and is occupied by a single-family home with 2 detached outbuildings. The applicant is proposing to install a 22-foot wide pool by 52 inches high above ground pool on the property in the side yard, kind of where my cursor is. Section 4.04B of the development regulations states no more than 2 detached accessory structures shall be allowed per building lot or parcel, whichever is larger in area. And pools are defined as a permitted accessory use or structure. Happy to take any questions. And the applicant is here also.
I have 2.
Okay.
So is this the pool that's already there that we're granting a variance for?
Correct.
Okay. And then secondly, in his letter, it says that the 10 by 10 shed would not count as an outbuilding. I don't think that is correct. Is that would be incorrect? Maybe that's true in the county. I don't know what the county ordinance says. But it doesn't matter what size it is in this city, right?
Correct.
Regardless of size?
Correct. To us, there are 2 existing structures, and this is a third.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Jay?
Oh, sure, I have no questions. I have no questions.
David?
I've got a couple.
Okay?
New to this here, so how is a swimming pool considered a structure? It's not on a concrete base, right? Which is structure, correct? Because I know if you put a shed on a concrete base, then that's considered structure. If you buy one of the sheds from in front of, on Spruce there, or even a Tough Shed, and it's not on a concrete pad, then that's not considered a taxable structure, correct?
So it's an
Is there a
accessory,
difference? I mean, I'm just trying
According
to,
to our definition.
it's an accessory use. We have a list.
just trying to.
So accessory building, structure, or use is a building or use which 1 is subordinate to and serves a principal building or principal use. 2 is subordinate in area, extent, or purpose to the principal building or principal use served. 3 contributes to the comfort, convenience, or necessity of occupants of the principal building or principal use. And 4 is located on the same zoning lot as the principal building or principal use, the same as a pertinent structure.
So,
However, an above-ground pool is only a temporary situation because you have to take it down in the wintertime, don't you?
No.
You don't have to take it down.
it depends on size. I mean, but, so if it's a comfort to the occupant, that's a structure.
So according to our regulations, I mean, play structures like a kid's play set is also included. Pergolas,
And it specifically calls out pools there.
right.
Pools and something, I can't quite read that.
Yeah, there's a horrible glare here.
Pools and what?
Pools and courts, like tennis courts.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we would consider pergolas, gazebos. Those would all be accessory structures as well.
And so it's in our development regulations, so we have to enforce what's currently in our regulations.
I actually have a question, if I may.
Sure.
So, in regards to the structures, I don't recall seeing if there is a number of structures that is capped per lot size. So my question is something that could also be looked into if you have a sizable amount of land?
It is something we are going to be looking into in the next round of text amendments to the development regulations, but it's not currently in them.
No, currently there's 2. You're maxed out at 2.
Or 2. I mean, there's not
Yeah, regardless
By
of the size
size.
of your lot, you're maxed out at
2,
Yes.
right?
But next year's development regulations, we're looking into
More.
changing that so that if you have a lot size of 2 acres or more, you're allowed a third accessory structure.
But that's next year. And when does that kick in time-wise? Is that a fiscal or is that like
No.
It'll be the end of
Towards the
next
end.
year.
calendar? Okay.
End of '24.
And how long does that usually take to do?
It has to go to the planning commission and then city commission for 2 considerations.
So several months.
So it'd probably be beginning of 2025.
I have one other question. How long has that existing pool been there?
It went up this summer,
I did, okay.
and it has a temporary fence. Once, if you guys approve this, then they would have to put up a more permanent fence.
For safety.
Yeah. A fence is required by a state.
They know
And if
they'll
it's,
submit the-
and if it's denied, then the pool and fence would have to be removed.
So have any neighbors who are located adjacent, there whose homes are located adjacent to their property, or to the owner's properties, or across the street from their properties, has anybody objected?
We have not
It
heard
is-
from any neighbors.
Okay, has anybody sent a letter saying, hey,
Oh, yeah.
really right in there, and it's great to have a community pool or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Any further questions?
No questions for me.
I'm good, sir.
Okay, Kathy?
No, okay.
Okay, then we'll,
We should hear from the applicants if they want to talk.
if we open when we open the public meeting,
But they're the applicant, so it doesn't, okay.
normally we've heard from them in the public meeting of the applicants,
That's okay.
okay?
Since they're the only ones here, I don't think it matters.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we'll close whatever we have to close and then open the public meeting. And we'd like to hear from the applicants. If someone would like to come up to the podium and identify yourself,
I'm Ron Troutman,
okay?
my wife Danielle.
Mhm.
I think everything I wrote in there, when we found out we bought this pool from Walmart, we didn't realize we had to have a permit. And when we found out that we possibly did, that's when we came into the city to get a permit. And that's when we found out that the structure problem. But I have been working with them. We put a temporary fence around the pool and try to keep everything. Didn't want to put a bunch of money into it until we find out if we can get this passed or not. Hopefully they do get that changed to where sizes like this can, because I've got a tractor, implements and everything else that I've got to keep in storage, and otherwise, regular small lot size can do a 10 by 10 and put everything in there and they're good to go. But unless you guys have any questions.
Questions?
None for me.
None for me, sir.
No, sir.
No?
Okay.
No? Thank you. A request for a variance may be granted upon finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met.
Close the public hearing.
Oh, close the public hearing, all right. Do we have a motion to close the public hearing, or do we need it?
You don't need it.
can just
Okay,
close it.
thank you. We close the public meeting and we'll go into the voting side of it. A request for a variance may be granted upon the finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition and the finding shall be entered in the record. Number one, or A, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. I'll start.
Can I just
Sure.
ask a brief question procedurally? Do they understand that in order for it to be approved, that the majority of the board has to approve all 5 of these
Each one of
conditions?
these.
I see.
Yeah,
I
you
do
can't
now.
vote in, negative for one. If there's not a majority on each one of these, any one of them could deny the variance. I just want to make sure that
No,
you
thank
guys.
you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Good to know.
Okay? I'll start the voting with my right.
So you say either you agree
Yes,
or you disagree
you
with that?
agree or
I
disagree?
agree. They can have it.
I unfortunately disagree, as much as I'd like for you to have the pool. by state statute, one of these requirements is that this is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. This is the single most difficult thing I have in being on the BZA, is getting past this particular requirement. And so I have to disagree on this particular one, but I would fully support you when you wouldn't have to come back next time if they do change the ordinance. You would just be permitted outright.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, item B, that the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. I'll start with Daniel.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Number C, that the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardships upon the property owner represented in the application. Start to my right.
Could you explain that statement?
I think it's the strict application of the
So the
Development
development
regulations.
regulations that I read, the section 4.04B, that no more than 2 detached accessory structures shall be allowed per building lot or parcel, which is ever larger in an area. So that's from the development regulations, and you're determining, is it,
that
Restrictive.
yeah.
strict application
And,
of the rules at this particular point in time.
and from a planning perspective, an unnecessary hardship is not considered, monetary reasons are not considered unnecessary hardships.
I mean, it does go with the applicator, the wording, so unfortunately I have to agree.
Okay?
I disagree.
Agree?
Agree.
Agree.
Okay, that the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
I agree.
I agree.
Agree?
Agree.
Agree.
That the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
I agree.
Disagree.
Agree?
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. In granting the variance, the board may impose such conditions, safeguards, and restrictions upon the premises benefited by the variance as may be necessary to reduce or minimize any potentially injurious effect of such variance upon other property in the neighborhood and to carry out the general purpose and intent of these development regulations. So by voting,
You're not voting, you're just
or
kind of talking amongst each other
Talking,
to see if you
okay.
guys want any sort of
do you want
Additions.
any additional
additions or conditions, restrictions?
conditions for this particular structure?
It sounds like the
Structures.
state fairly well covers that in terms of health and safety issues, so.
For fencing and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's covered, yeah.
So the, if there are none, the variance of,
Here's your case number.
yeah,
Is that what you're looking
the
for?
variance is granted for 2023-21.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you have for us?
Nope.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that the commission adjourn.
Second, please, somebody?
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.
Do you have any cases for next month?